In this video, we're going to look at ribbons. You see at the top here, the home, there's all these options that you can pick and choose from. Other items up at the top here, this list each has its own separate ribbon with a number of options. You can see the options are very large because every one of these has a large number. We're going to look at some of these, and then within each ribbon we'll look at kind of a sampling of things in there. Pick the things that are most commonly used. Let's start with the clipboard part of the home ribbon. And this is the same as any Microsoft software, how they've standardized. Clip, copy, format painter, and the paste. Can't paste till you've copied something. Let's start with Format Painter. You click on it, it gives you a description of what it will do, which is their help screens are pretty much incorporated into these if you just hover over a name. Here we have dollar signs here, but we don't have any on these right down here. So if we wanted to get those formatted the same, we could go click on the $20, that's the format we want, click on Format Painter, and shade the ones we want to do. And that converts that format to wherever you go. It's convenient to have in many different ways. Might just note at this point, if I go up here to the back arrow, we're back to here, I could have just shaded these, gone up to here in the number portion, pick currency, and it would do the same thing. So there's any different ways of accomplishing the same task, and we'll see this as we go through the various ribbons. Let's look at the copy. The cut just erases it, and then you can copy it. Copy just copies, but let's just do the copy. Let's copy this part of the table here. Do copy, and put it right down here. That's where this corner is going to be down here. Do a paste, and we have the same table style, but the numbers are different. Why is it different? This column is the same. This is the same. None of the else is the same. Well, the reason is that if I go back here, up here it used B4. When it come down here, it used B13 because it does it relatively so. It's relative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, 1 over, or B is B4. If we go to here and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up, 1 over, here we get 2250. So if we change that to B4, all the numbers come out right because these are relative as well. It brought this down, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rows, 9 rows, and all of these were brought down the same because these changed along with it. Up here, B4 did not change because we didn't copy it. We only copied these. But the copy's handy, but you have to watch for those type of things. You might note in the pastes that all of these, see, have equations, formulas all the way down. If we wanted to just copy those and paste not the formulas but the numbers, there's paste and there's various things you can copy, but in this case I want to show you is going over to this column and we'll paste values. So paste these values without any formatting. But note they also do not have the equations. This one had an equation, this one didn't, so it did not paste those. If we rather went into paste values and numbers, then you get this. Still just the numbers, but it is formatted and so forth. So the paste has some options which you can take advantage of, and we will do that from time to time. I'm going to delete those. And that's what we're going to cover on the clipboard. The second ribbon group in the home section is the font. These again are much like other Microsoft packages. Let's just look at a couple. These are calibrated in. If you wanted to go to another theme, you can go to Algerian if you want or whatever. The size sometimes becomes important. Bold. This is in bold. We want to get rid of it. We click on it, it goes away. We could italicize it, we could underline it and do all three, or get rid of all of that. You can increase font size simply by looking at the A with the arrow on top, and it gets bigger. See what you want, bring it back down where it was. The two that often used, especially this one here, if you want to get this color like this, you can click on that and pick a color. And there's white, I guess you could say. And here's some standard colors. Here's the yellow that I use. You can go to obviously any color you want. But note, if you do a dark color with dark print, it's hardly visible, so avoid that. If you do want the red, go with this one. Oops, it's the wrong place. That's not the right one. Let's go on this one. And then it's visible with a lighter red. And I want to get rid of this. Let's get rid of all. I'm just going backwards this number of times. And we're back where we started. This one here, again, if you hover on them, you get what they are, the font color. If we wanted this font label up here to be something else, pick your weapon and do it. And that essentially is the font. Closer related to that is the alignment ribbon. These here, you can see, you look at shades, what it is. It's centered. That's left and right, the horizontal. This is the vertical. It's just take this one here, make it a bit larger, and then click on it. You see it's vertical. If it's on the top, you go up to top, bottom to bottom, in the middle. There's right, it's centered over that one. Or this one, you lose it all. None of that works very well, but sometimes you want it to be over several columns. That's where this merge and center comes in. You shade, we want it to be over those 4 columns, so we shade those to merge and center. And when we do that, we can then go back to here or here, anything you want to do. Most common ones being like that. There are cases where you don't want to do that. So let's click on it, take that out, and whether we want it to all be in that box. So here's wrap text. And that can be centered or anything you want to do with that. And that's the alignment. Work that many ways. Sometimes it will cover stuff up and you can't find it. And it can be just an alignment problem. If we get rid of the wrap and it comes up to look like this, you say what happened to it? Well, it's because it's just aligned wrong. Go the other way and it would be just fine. And that'll take care of alignment. Now we look at the number group up here. We've looked at these before. We'll look a little more detail now. First of all, you have up here all the various formats that you can choose from, just about anything you want. And if we put shade as $500 and we want it to change to the accounting format, it will do it for you. If you don't want anything but a number, it will. Move it back to currency and we have it this way. Currency allows you to center it left or right, so forth. Let's look at another one. Let's say the number 0.25. If we wanted to change that to a percentage, we could click here. And there it does it. I'm going to take it off, click on it. Well, it doesn't click on it. So we'll change it back to a number. And up here you could change it to a percentage. Note that if you go to there, you won't let you go any further than that. You have to have the whole numbers when you change the number of decimal points. That wakes you up the sound too. That's the percentage. Let's look at another one, see what happens. Let's do a fraction. That's interesting. It will print it as a fraction. So there's all kinds of things you can do. Now, this is a summary, a kind of condensed version. You can get a larger version if you right-click on a cell and go to Format Cells. For instance, we're on the fraction. If you wanted to change this to have, instead of quarters, to be eighths, you do that. Now it's 2/8 and so forth. Do right-click, Format Cells. We'd rather go back to a percentage. And here's the decimal places. We can do that. So you can do most anything. Let's put in a number. Well, we'll just use this one right here and do a format cells, number, and currency. Note there's some negative number options here. If we choose this one, it will change it so it's just red. If we do this one, it changes so it's red and has parentheses. In accounting, parentheses usually means negative. So if I change that to a -500, now it prints out negative with that and makes all of these negatives to go with it. Let's use our back arrow up here, the undo arrow, and go back to where we were. Let's see, we also could look at dates, 5/19/2014. That's all right. And that's a date. If we wanted other formats, we could go to this Format Cells and pick one like this. It's not big enough. I would double click up here on the right hand side. It makes it the full size. There's other date formats, Format Cells, it's on date. If you want it to look like that, obviously you can do that and so forth. If you look at Format Cells again, you can change the font, which we did up above as well, much the same. A few more options here. One that is not really anywhere else easily is the border. And here we can put a border. Say we want an outline on that cell, and there's an outline. If we wanted to look at, say, these group of cells, do a format, and do an outline, and we also want crosshatches everywhere. And there they are. Let's do this again a different way. If we want to format cells, instead of the crosshatching to be a solid line, to be something that looks like this, we click on the style up there, then click on inside, and you see in the picture what it's going to be, and that is the style for that. You get all confused, not sure well, let's first look at one thing. If I wanted to erase that middle lines everywhere, I could just click here and they're gone. I can erase those. Or you can just put none again, or click on the outside, it's in there, click again, it's still there. You just got to go to none, I guess. Then you can do the outline again and you're back where we were at one time. Sometimes you want to draw a double line at the bottom. Do a right click, Format Cells. We're on border yet, a double line on the bottom. Click OK, and now we have the double line on the bottom. If I wanted that above that, just common. Click on this, click on top, so you can see it. And there you have it. And that's the borders. The fills are elsewhere. They're always here. Fill, you can pick the colors, do it the same way as you want. And note that you can't have patterns. There's a pattern color, a pattern style. You want it to look like, I don't know, let's do that one. And now they have a fill. This isn't too common to use. And we're back where we were, and that essentially is the number options. The sales group over here has some useful things. If you wanted to, say we have these two rows up here that we really don't want, you click on delete here and they're gone. If we wanted them back, or if we wanted to put an extra row in here, we could just do insert, delete them, and so forth. There's some options with those if you go down, if you want to play with those and search cells, rows, and so forth. The same with delete. The format up here is handy in a couple ways. If you click on the arrow on the bottom, the row heights. If you want all the row heights here to be larger, I think the default is 15. So I'll make it 20. Now they're larger. If we wanted all of these columns to be wider, it has a different number because each one's a different size. But let's make each one 20. They're the same. The tab colors in the bottom and so forth you can use. You can put protection in here, a few different things, but that's the ones most commonly used: row height and column width, when you want to set all of them to be the same. In the editing group up here, the last group in the home ribbon, we're going to look at a couple of these. One's the auto sum is handy. Say we wanted to make a sum of the interest that's earned or paid here. If I click down here at the bottom and then click auto sum, it will give it to us. And there's the summation. If you look at this, it forms a sum of these. It's a sum function. We'll talk about functions very shortly here. If I go back, undo that, and show you again, I'll do the same thing with an auto sum. Say we wanted to include this row up here at the top as well. If you click on it and then shade it, it will use those, or otherwise we just wanted to sum the last two, 4, 5, and 6, the last three, and do those, and then it will do just the last three. So you can shade what you want. It takes a guess at what you want, and then we'll do the rest. That pretty well, let's look at the sorting. I have an example here. Here's 4 names on another sheet. If you click on sort A to Z, it changes the order of these 3 to be in alphabetical order. Sort Z to A backwards, now they're backwards, and so forth. So that can be handy too as well. You can do that with numbers, dates, times, anything. You can play with all of these options. There's many different things. You can get lost in that forever. But there are other ribbons, and with the upcoming videos we'll look at these other options up here and a few of those and the ribbons that come with those. Thank you.